Ay, caramba. Well, I have written this really pellucid book called Virtually Normal, which describes some of this process. Coming out is kind of interesting because it's very different in different ways, and there are also so many ways of being out. There are so many gradations and so much subtlety involved that I think, with any luck, we'll move past this sort of epic notion of one moment of coming out. I did it having moved to America, and so coming out to one's friends was one thing. I was never in the closet, actually, to be honest with you. Strictly speaking, maybe I was for a couple of months or something. I was basically a celibate or attempting to have sex with women, terrified homosexual guy. And then, lo and behold, I kissed the first man and had the first romantic interlude, which I promptly ran away from. But nonetheless, once it happened, it was quite clear to me that, as I put it in my book, it was like being in a black and white movie that suddenly became color. That was the way the world changed for me. Told my folks at a subsequent trip to England, which nearly went terribly wrong. I've told this story too many times to tell it again. Oddly enough, this is how I remember it, the day after I told my parents, because my sister had blurted something out to them in advance. She denies it to this day, but she's lying. She did it for the best of reasons. I actually, the next day, believe it or not, I actually took a train. It's a relief, really, to get out of my house. Because that was the day I was supposed to see Michael Oakeshott to discuss my dissertation, just back in 1989. So that was a pretty trippy couple of days. Let me put it that way. But in fact, it wasn't that hard in the end. There was a lot of excruciating, lonely hand-wringing and soul-searching beforehand. And there was a lot of hand-wringing and soul-searching thereafter. But boy, is it great to be yourself. And also to have love as part of your life for the first time. Well, as Larkin said of the opposite, not being loved, that nothing cures. And so for me, it was a revelation in that sense. A revelation into being not gay, but actually finally being able to be human. And I think unless the straight person, I always said this to straight audiences, why don't you try living one day, just one day, without ever tipping anybody to the fact that you might be a heterosexual. Like, you can't mention your husband, wife, kids, boyfriend, girlfriend, anything to do with that. No pronouns, no social life discussed, which could reveal anything about your sexual orientation. Try it. Try it for a day or two, and you'll see exactly what it feels like. And the psychological energy required to do that for a lifetime. Well, you can see why the Pope is how he is.